There's only one person that came tonight that I know of for sure, and that's Fred Miller for the clerk, for the county clerk office. Okay, Fred. It's Fred Miller. Why did you decide to run for this office, Fred?
So I'm running for the office of Macomb County Clerk, Register of Deeds. As to state the obvious, or maybe everybody knows at this point, our longtime county clerk, her name's Carmela Sabaugh, who has served with distinction for 24 years, almost all entire generation.
Yeah.
She's moving on to the next chapter in her life. And so I'm running to succeed Carmela. I'm proud to have her endorsement, and hopefully we'll work to get the endorsement of the folks in this room as well. So I'm running because, honestly, I love serving. I love serving the public. I love serving people. I've been very blessed to be in a position to do so as a staffer for our great U.S. Senator Carl Levin, former Congressman David Bonnier. I spent some time working in the state Senate as a staffer for Ken DeBosart when he was in the state Senate, and had the good fortune to be elected to the Michigan House of Representatives, representing Central Macomb for a number of years, for 6 years, and currently serve as a county commissioner. So being able to be in a position to help people with their problems, to make the system work properly, it's such a charge, personally. And so I guess it's a little bit selfish because I love to do what I do. But I also believe that more than ever, we need good people in government. We need people who are interested in putting people first. We need people who are going to stand up against the Trumps of the world. The right-wing zombies that currently dominate Lansing, Rick Snyder and company, and we need good people who are going to serve with integrity. And so I'm kind of following a calling, and I'm proud to have been able to do that and hope to take my service to the next level.
Okay. What are the qualifications, you've mentioned quite a few in your first statement, that you think you bring to this office?
So, as I mentioned, my service as a state representative, I first touched on a number of issues that are relevant to the clerk's office, and in fact worked with Carmela and then Oakland County Clerk, now Secretary of State Ruth Johnson, to pass mortgage foreclosure redemption legislation, which, without getting too much into the weeds, help people in the height of the foreclosure crisis to help redeem their homes faster and empower the Register of Deeds to be able to help people do that. So that was kind of a taste, but also in the state legislature, I worked on some election issues. I co-sponsored legislation to make no reason absentee voting statewide. Of course, that hasn't happened yet, but worked on those issues in the state legislature, along with other ones. Currently, as a county commissioner, I served on the first board that was after we passed the charter. And so that board authored a lot of the foundational documents for our new county government, which included the ethics ordinance, which I'm proud to have played a role in developing, which cracks down on nepotism in hiring, conflicts of interest, as well as other things in county government. And we also authored the purchasing ordinance, which put in place important checks and balances between the executive and the board in terms of oversight of contracts, approving contracts. That measure was challenged by the executive and his legal team and went all the way to the Michigan Court of Appeals and was upheld. And so I'm particularly proud of that one. So, but beyond all that stuff, the County Board of Commissioners works closely with Carmela's office, the Macomb County Clerk and Register of Deeds, to provide oversight, to work with her on her budget. I'll give you an example. A couple years ago, we saw really a tidal wave of applications for concealed pistol licenses, so much so that it overwhelmed the staff's ability to really process these in a timely fashion. And so you're talking about an important constitutional Second Amendment right of people to have access to concealed pistols. And so we were able to work with Carmela to find additional funds to add capacity to her office, so we were able to really expedite that process. So that and really to get a firsthand look at the work that Carmela and her team do, and has really been an education, and I hope to be able to be in a position to carry on her tradition of service.
Wonderful. What do you think are the biggest issues you're going to face?
So I think there are two buckets. Think about the internal issues and the external issues. The internal issues, coming into an office where someone has been the head of it for 24 years, there aren't many people there who have worked for anybody but Carmella. So I want to be respectful of that team because literally they've been recognized by national awards for the work that they do. But coming into an 80-plus person organization, you have to be respectful of the people that are there, respectful of their expertise,
Sure.
and making sure that that office is run as administered properly and
Sure.
efficiently
Sure.
is very important. So I view that as an issue, as a challenge, as something to be addressed by anybody who comes in there.
Absolutely.
So that internal and external, I think one thing that Carmella has made her so special is that she's been able to be an advocate, but she's always been able to be fair. And she fought for her democratic principles, for our democratic principles,
Sure.
when it came to erosion of voting rights and other things. And nobody ever really questioned her
Decision.
fairness, her decisions, exactly. But I think we're going to continue to see those assaults on voting rights coming from Lansing, as well as continuing to push costs from Lansing down on local government. We've seen Lansing politicians balancing the budget there by putting it on the backs of locals, including the county. And we're going to need to stand up against that and be a strong advocate the way that Carmella has to make sure that that doesn't happen, because there are so many critical services that are administered by the clerk's office that people need. And if they to foist these unfunded mandates and to foist cuts on locals, they can say in Lansing that their fiscal house is in order, but we know that it creates problems locally for people to have access to critical things. So it really, to answer your question, it's internal issues and external issues to advocate, to work on these issues, and also be a good administrator of the office.
Of the office. So what does being a Democrat mean to you?
When it was alluded to, Senator Sanders, Secretary Clinton, the coming together, I saw the words on the podium, "stronger together." And no doubt that's been, I'm not a neophyte in politics, no doubt that's been focus grouped and polled and whatnot. But really those two words, "stronger together," mean so much to me as a Democrat, because we recognize that inclusion is a core democratic value.
Yes, it is.
That supporting working people and patriotism, not divisiveness.
Right.
That's what it means to be a Democrat. I think Democrats understand intuitively that America does better, that big business does better, that people at the top do better when working people do better. When unions are strong, when trade deals are fair, when we protect American jobs, which are core democratic values, the people at the top do better when all that happens.
Absolutely.
So being a Democrat to me is stronger together. And I gotta say, I'm so proud to be a Democrat. I'm so proud to be a Democrat right now, because when you think about it, and I don't have to tell the members of the Sterling Heights Democratic Club this, but can anybody ever think of an election that we faced like the one we're facing? Can anybody ever think of a candidate like Donald Trump that we've ever faced before? And it's so easy for us to dismiss him as a caricature, right? As just a clown. But the fact that this man is so close to being president of the United States, it really has terrific implications for our whole republic.
Yeah.
And so, being a Democrat means, I think, at this time, being vigilant on behalf of our republic. And because I really do believe that the stakes are so high at this election that it really does mean the future of our country as we know it. So that's what being a Democrat means to me.
Well, thank you so much. I think you combined a couple questions together, and you did a great job.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Really.
Thank you. Thank you.